By the time you finish this video, someone will have made thousands of dollars flooding the internet with fake content. They didn't create anything real. They didn't film anything. They didn't write anything. They just typed a few prompts into Sora and pumped out hundreds of fake videos and articles. And what's worse, YouTube, Meta, TikTok all know about it. They're letting it happen. And you've probably been duped by it at least once this week. It got so bad that Merriam-Webster declared slop the word of the year for 2025. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how this scam works, why your favorite platforms won't stop it, and how to make sure you're never the mark. In simplest terms, AI slop is digital content generated by artificial intelligence and is generally considered to be of low quality or dubious origins. It can be written content or videos and everything in between. It's those dumb ads you see online with an older Asian guy who looks to be in good shape, trying to convince people that he got that way with Tai Chi and walking. Or the video of Bigfoot running around the woods after supposedly consuming copious amounts of cocaine. That's AI slop. If those never hit your algorithm, a few mainstream examples include the obviously faked Will Smith vacation photo, President Trump as a fighter pilot, Taylor Swift using AI-generated images to promote her album Showgirl, or even faked riot videos posted to justify National Guard deployment in places like Portland and Los Angeles. And this kind of content exploded in 2025. As a matter of fact, according to the online magazine Graphite's study of 65,000 URLs, they found by the beginning of 2025, about 52% of all written articles on the internet were AI-generated. ZebraCat found that in 2025, AI-generated videos account for about 40% of video content on major social media platforms. That includes both fully synthetic clips and heavily AI-assisted edits. Capwing's analysis of one YouTube short feed found that 21% of the first 500 videos were AI-generated. And 33% were classified as brain rot, meaning about 54% of what that new user saw was slop, or at least slop adjacent. There were over 1.3 billion AI-generated videos on TikTok alone in 2025. Now, let's take a second to recognize the difference between AI enablement in content creation and full-on AI slop. On this, I can speak from personal experience. Subscribers of this channel have heard me say how I use Perplexity to conduct research for every episode, including this one. I also use Claude to help write titles, iterate on thumbnail, text, and design, and suggest SEO optimization for descriptions and hashtags. I readily admit to using AI enablement in my own content creation. I would also defend the practice as a way to create better researched and richer content more efficiently. I'm not a monetized channel, but I do aim to produce content that is as good or better than the biggest moneymakers on YouTube. These AI tools allow me to do that. I write my own material, but I do use AI to suggest edits for openings to maximize retention. I won't get into the dorky nuance of YouTube algorithm optimization because you don't care, and I wish I didn't have to care. I hope you're enjoying the content, and if you are, please consider subscribing to the channel. Back to the episode. For numbers' sake, before I used these AI tools, it took between 8 to 10 hours of work to produce 50 minutes of edited content. I know that sounds nuts, but now to produce the same amount of work shrinks to about 7 hours per week. When you're working a full-time job and doing this YouTube thing as a hobby, it's nice to work for free a few less hours each week. And I'm not alone. Creator surveys completed by Digiday showed that more than 80% of video creators now use AI somewhere in their workflow. So even when footage is real, a large and growing fraction of what you see is AI touched. None of this, in my opinion, is slop or even contributing to it. Just utilizing AI tools to make what content creators refer to as workflows easier and faster. But slop, pure slop, is a very different animal. So here's the basic anatomy of a professional dedicated slop shop. First, these shops, or sloppies, target high revenue per thousand, or RPM, niches like celebrities, politics, cute animals, life hacks, fake history, and real estate. These are subjects that rank high for RPM on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, or Facebook Reels. Then they set up faceless channels or content farm websites designed to maximize ad views, affiliate clicks, or platform incentive bonuses tied to watch time and reach. These shops generate the actual content using LLMs like ChatGPT to create scripts, fake news blurbs, product reviews, listicles, or explainer threads, often copied with no fact-checking. If you're not familiar with the term, a listicle is an article in the form of a list as opposed to traditional paragraphs and are a hallmark of sloppies. If they're creating images, they often use Midjourney, DALL-E, or other platforms to churn out surreal or emotionally charged images targeting doom scrollers and trying to get them to stop even momentarily. In layman's terms, they maximize clicks while minimizing effort to generate revenue. And generating AI content has become frighteningly simple. Using tools like Sora or CapCut, sloppies can generate text-to-speech voices, AI-generated video footage from thin air, and auto edits to churn out hours of content in minutes. Then, after the content has been generated by AI, these shops use automated schedulers and bots to auto-post hundreds of pieces per day across platforms. These tools will even allow them to A/B test hooks, thumbnails, and hashtags to see what the algorithm picks up. And all of this is so easy. You don't need any particular marketing, coding, or even creative skills. That low bar of entry has opened the floodgates for a tsunami of slop. So what's the attraction? Why are so many people creating this slop? For the same reason anyone is incentivized in Western capitalistic societies: money. This content generates revenue from two main buckets: advertising programs and affiliate marketing agreements. YouTube, AdSense, and TikTok's creator reward system pays channels based on that RPM metric I mentioned a few minutes ago. Basically, those platforms pay channels based on how many views they get. The payouts can vary widely, but thousands of slop creators have cracked the code. Fortune magazine ran an article citing a YouTube faceless AI channel run by a 22-year-old that was earning between $40,000 and $60,000 per month in ad revenue from YouTube with operating costs of only $6,000, translating into 85 to 89% profit margins. Because of these margins, even poorly performing content is still lucrative. Some are leveraging AI to modernize an old SEO backlinking scheme, where they use AI text and image generation to mass produce junk web pages. Then they plug into programmatic ad exchanges so big brands' ads run on them without the brands realizing where their impressions land. The sloppies are then paid by the ad exchange for each ad viewed. Affiliate deals are where I've started seeing a huge influx of activity. Slop channels and sites embed affiliate links from Amazon, finance apps, or online courses in descriptions or pages using viral AI content as the hook to drive a small conversion rate on high payout offers. The effect of this slop is fairly wide-ranging. According to the AI platform Moen.ai, slop can undermine the credibility of brands and media, efficiently spread disinformation, support extremism, and even contribute to an individual's cognitive strain. Admittedly, most slop is harmless brain rot, and while I have a pretty severe gag reflex as a content creator when I think about the dummy I am for actually trying to create original, meaningful content, while these pajama-wearing Cheeto-fingered douchebags make millions off this crap, I can recognize it's mostly harmless. But the same techniques used to create a cocaine-snorting Sasquatch can be used for more nefarious purposes. Increasingly, slop is being used to commit actual crime, ranging from deep fakes of celebrities and tech CEOs soliciting non-existent investment opportunities, to bots impersonating priests and ministers soliciting donations and tithes from unexpected victims. Some are as simple as they are sinister, where AI-generated voices and videos impersonate company executives in calls or video messages, instructing staff to wire funds. And they'll wire those funds because the slop looks and sounds real enough to fool people, and they don't want to disregard what looks like a legitimate demand from their boss. Possibly the darkest and most predatory criminal practice is cloning individuals' voices to construct ransom and abduction scams, where the mark gets a call or voicemail with what sounds like a family member or relative telling them they're being held by someone until they pay the abductor a ransom. The same gambit is run where the perpetrator pretends to be law enforcement and demands the victim pay some outstanding fine or bail to get their loved one out of jail. Usually the perps try to use someone that may be harder to contact directly or with whom the victim doesn't regularly interact with, making it harder for them to even recognize the scam. AARP has launched a campaign to warn and educate its members about AI slop and how they can avoid becoming victims. Senior citizens have been the target of digital scams for years. Phishing campaigns, romance scams, and identity thefts are common tactics. AI-generated content is particularly effective when used with older Americans who don't know what deepfakes, clone voices, or AI slop is. All they see is a video of someone that looks a lot like that niece they haven't seen in years, asking for money because she's gotten into some trouble with the local police. It's important to understand the same social engineering scammers have used since the dawn of man have been weaponized by this slop. Scams that may have taken days or weeks to perpetrate now take seconds and can be fully automated. The sheer volume and efficiency these scammers can now adopt is breathtakingly scary. And this would all sound hyperbolic until you realize how little social and content platforms are doing to identify and limit this slop. YouTube announced it would no longer allow AI slop channels to monetize their content through its AdSense program, but conveniently didn't ban it from the platform. What's also interesting is that any AI-generated advertising placed on YouTube continues unabated. Hence that fake Tai Chi master I mentioned at the jump. They want the massive viewer engagement the slop generates, but also want to pretend they care about the quality of content on the platform. Facebook and TikTok have also made toothless attempts to limit slop on their platforms. Facebook requires an AI label on realistic-looking images, but stops short of explaining how they actually enforce that. Meta took it a step further by dedicating a section called Vibes, specifically to platform AI-generated content. TikTok, for its part, isn't really pretending to care about it, simply offering users the option to change their preferences regarding how much AI content they see. Mo and AI may have captured this best by writing, quote, "The algorithms behind social networks do everything they can to keep users on the screen for as long as possible. AI slop has a very strong effect here, and content is suggested continuously. The more AI slop content is played, the more new content is based on it, creating a loop effect." Meta is particularly criticized in this regard. The platform actively promotes AI slop by increasingly suggesting content to users based on AI recommendations. In addition, Meta offers various AI tools of its own for generating AI content. These platforms are not coming to save us. So what are the best ways to identify slop since the platforms can't seem to be bothered? Norton, the antivirus and cybersecurity software company, says to start by looking at the likely intent of any content in question. Is it trying to make you instantly angry, afraid, or euphoric about politics, crime, immigration, or markets? Strong emotional hooks plus a call to action are classic disinformation tactics. Does the message or presenter ask for money, passwords, or personal information? There's also what is referred to as slop signatures that you can look for. These flags include hands, teeth, jewelry, or backgrounds that look warped, odd lighting, inconsistent shadows, oddly smooth movement in the video, the lip sync is slightly off, the emotion in the voice isn't matching the face, or waxy skin textures. Then there are the obvious questions to ask yourself. What's the source? Who created it? Have you verified this from a separate, trusted source? You can look to see if there's a brand new account, has a low follower count, or the profile has no physical footprint, all of which can flag content as slop. I'll add my own advice here, which is as true as it may be tired. If it seems too good or too outrageous to be true, it probably is. So what can you do to limit your exposure to slop? While you can stop visiting sites or platforms where slop is typically posted, that's probably not a realistic solution. There are digital tools that can help you avoid slop. KG and DuckDuckGo both have built-in slop mitigation tools on their browsers. There are also browser extensions like Slop Evader and Bye Bye Google AI, clever name, that help you weed out slop. Most experts advocate that educating yourself is the best place to start and potentially the best way to shield yourself from AI slop. This tech will continue to evolve and how people use it will as well. So understanding what it is, how it's used, and its potential impact on you becomes crucial. So what have we learned? AI slop is everywhere and exploded in volume and presence on most platforms in 2025. Slop ranges from annoying and misleading to outright fraud and criminal endeavors. Meta, TikTok, and YouTube aren't going to protect you from or limit slop on their sites. They have no economic incentive to do so. AI slop has made scammers and criminals explosively efficient and effective. They can do serious damage in seconds. And finally, there are ways for you to identify and avoid being targeted by this slop. I understand that this all sounds exhausting. One more thing to worry about, one more layer of skepticism you have to apply to everything you see online, but there's no going back. AI slop isn't a trend that's going to fade away. It's everywhere, it's profitable, and it's only going to get more sophisticated. The platforms aren't going to save us because honestly, they're benefiting from the engagement this junk generates. So the responsibility falls on us. Not to become paranoid, not to distrust everything, but to become more discerning. Ask questions, verify sources, trust your spidey sense when something feels off. The internet gave us access to unlimited information and connection. AI slop is the price we're paying for that unfettered access. That's it for this episode. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.